Hi everyone. Last two classes we have studied about the introduction of nucleus and the constituents of nucleus and the binding energy mainly. Like what is the meaning of binding energy of a particular nucleus. So if we simply brush up all those things, first thing, nucleus we represent with what? ZXA. ZXA, where Z is the atomic number, which is nothing but number of protons, and A is mass number, that is number of protons plus neutrons, so that A minus Z became number of neutrons. And to find the total mass of the constituents of the nucleus, we have taken the formula Z times mass of proton plus A minus Z times mass of neutron equal to the total mass of the constituents of the nucleus. But when they form together one nucleus, the actual mass is something else. There is always a slight difference, we said, and that difference we call it as mass defect. So calculated mass and the actual mass, so that you get the concept of binding energy. From where you got the binding energy concept? We have taken the Einstein mass energy relation, where mass energy relation says every mass equivalent to some amount of energy. How much? mc square, where c is speed of light. And in nucleus, every mass we measure in terms of AMU. That's why we found what is the energy equivalent to, what is the energy equivalent to 1 AMU. That we got approximately, I told you to take 933 or 935, or sometimes they will mention in the question. So accordingly you have to choose the values and then you can calculate. First, if you find the mass defect, the difference between the original mass and the calculated mass, then you can find binding energy. So that way you can find it. Now, also we said one more thing, binding energy per nucleon. Binding energy per nucleon means the when you consider one nucleus, any nucleus, let's take suppose ZXA. Here A is number of protons plus neutrons, total number of particles inside the nucleus, which we call it as nucleons. What we call them as? Nucleons. So A is the total number of particles inside the nucleons. So whatever binding energy you will calculate or we will calculate, that is the binding energy for all these nucleons. For one, if you want to find, you have to divide binding energy with this number. Like for 10 nucleons, this much. Then for 1, that much divided by 10, like that. So that is what we have studied. Now, one important model type of question we need to understand. Like sometimes reaction based questions they will give in the entrance point of view related to nucleus. So what is that? See here, 1H2, 1H2, 2 helium-4. Generally you will see chemical reactions. But here one nuclear reaction. Two nucleons combine to form one more nucleus. Where 1H2, what is 1H2? Deuterium. 1H2 means Z is 1, so 1 proton. A is 2, So A minus Z means 2 minus 1, 1 neutron. So 1 proton, 1 neutron. That you need to understand. Then 1 H2, 1 H2. So 1 is 1 proton, same thing. So 2 is 1 proton, 1 neutron. Now the resultant product, these are the reactants and this is the product, 2 helium 4. So there are 2, Z is 2 means 2 protons. So 1 proton, 2 protons. Now 1 proton, 1 neutron, 1 proton, 1 neutron, total 4 neutron. Sorry, 4 mass number. So 2 protons and 4 minus 2, 2 neutrons. So this is the result. Now for such reactions what they will give is, they will give the binding energy of reactants. They will give the binding energy of product. Then they will ask you how much energy released. Like in this given question, see, for 1H2 EBN, not binding energy. Binding energy per nucleon. What they have given is EBN. So binding energy per nucleon. How much? 1.1 mega electron volt. So that for 1H2, what is the binding energy will become? For one nucleon this much. But how many nucleons are there? 2 nucleons. So what is the total binding energy? 2 into 1.1, 2.2 mega electron volt. This way you can get binding energy. But how many are there? 2 are there. So total binding energy of the reactants. First you have to find total binding energy of the reactants, equal to, one is 2.2, another is also 2.2, because both are same. Sometimes they may give different respective data, they will give, don't worry. Now 2.2 plus 2.2, 4.4 mega electron volt. This is the total binding energy of the reactants. Now what about the product? Product is 2 helium 4, where for helium binding energy per nucleon is 7 mega electron volt. So that here total binding energy of product equal to, here total 4 nucleons are there. For one nucleon energy 7. For 4 nucleons, 4 into 7, 28 mega electron volt. So this is the total binding energy of the product. See, this much was there, this much. So how much energy released in this process? Rest of the. So energy released equal to, means excess of energy possessed. So that energy will be released in this process. How much? 28 minus 4.4. How much? 23.6 mega electron volt. So this way you have to find the total binding energy of the reactants and the product separately. Then you have to subtract. Then you will get the answer. So this is one of the important model. Sometimes I am telling, they will not give this directly. They will give mass of proton, mass of neutron, then mass of 1H2. Then how you will do? Then you have to find the constituents mass of 1H2. 1 proton, 1 neutron. Listen carefully please. 1 proton, 1 neutron. So what is the formula for calculated mass? Z times Mp plus A minus Z times Mn. That value you have to get, because they will give Mp value, Mn value. Now they will also give 1H2 actual mass. Then subtract them. Then you will get mass defect. If you multiply that with 933 or 935, then you will get the binding energy of this in terms of mega electron volt. Similar way for the product also. So depending upon the given question. Like last session, you have solved some assignment questions based on the same kind of thing. So if they give directly, the solution becomes easier. If they have not given, then the solution becomes little bit lengthy. Calculation, not so difficult. Only calculation difficult, right? So please try to understand. Only one question I have explained. And today also, let us solve more questions based on this binding energy. Few reaction based questions and remaining the binding energy and other concepts. So this is what you need to understand. One of the important model for the entrance point of view related to binding energy calculation. So please practice the question once at least after completion of lecture, then only attempt the assignment. Now, apart from whatever we have studied, two more things also, theoretical things we need to understand related to nucleus. That is, forces between nucleons. What are the forces between the nucleons? What kind of forces will exist between the nucleons? See, between nucleons means protons and neutrons. See, one thing if you consider, proton means already we studied in electrostatics, positively charged body. But neutron is, the name itself is saying, what is that? Neutral, no charge. But still, they are tightly bounded within the nucleus. There must be some strong attraction forces. That's why they are together. Together means what? Attraction. So that strong forces which are binding them together, whatever those forces, because they are not in nature of electromagnetic forces, because there is no charge for neutron. So between one charge and between one uncharged particle, proton and neutron, there are some forces which is binding them strongly, and they named it as nuclear forces. What are those? Nuclear forces. So first one is nuclear forces, and second one is Coulomb forces. Why we are saying Coulomb forces? Because between proton and neutron, nuclear forces. Between neutron and neutron, nuclear forces. Between proton and proton also nuclear forces. See, these are the combinations like NN, PP, PN. Between any such combination, nuclear force will be there. But if you take the combination PP, means between proton and proton, apart from this nuclear force, there also Coulomb force. Why? Because proton is having charge. So between two like charges, what force will exist? Electrostatic force. And what kind of force between like charges? Repulsive force. So between two protons, there must be some repulsive force. We are telling strong attractive force will be there between these combinations, and also between this there is one repulsive force. But repulsion means they should move away, they should go far away. But still they are together. Why? Because these nuclear forces are the strongest one than everything else, whatever rest of the forces existing. Because in the first PU, in the first chapter, you will study the different type of forces exist in nature, like electromagnetic forces, gravitational forces, and strong nuclear forces and weak nuclear forces, whatever nuclear forces we are telling. So compared to electromagnetic force or gravitational force, nuclear forces are very, very strong. That's why the atom is very much stable. The nucleons are tightly bounded. So that is what you need to remember. So if you find the nature, so this is like a descriptive question based. Like first one, strongly attractive in nature, always attraction. What forces? Nuclear forces. Second one, short range. What is the meaning of short range? They exist within the nucleus. What is the size of the nucleus we studied? 10 power minus 15 meter. The size is very, very, very small, tiny. So within that small range only these forces are existing. Even though they are very strong, they cannot act very far away. Means like one proton is here, one proton is here, means no nuclear force. The distance should be in terms of angstrom or Fermi meter. Then only the nuclear forces are effective. Then doesn't obey inverse square law. What does that mean? You take gravitational force. It is inversely proportional to square of the distance. You take electrostatic force, Coulomb force. That is also inversely proportional to square of the distance. But nuclear force doesn't obey that rule, that it is inversely proportional to square of the distance. So as distance decreases, your strongness increases. Now, here the fourth one, charge independent. As I told you already, there is no charge for neutron. Still, these forces are existing between neutron and neutron. So that means charge is not the cause for these forces. That's why we are simply saying the nuclear forces are charge independent and not central. What is the meaning of central force? We studied in gravitation, we studied in electrostatics. If two particles are there and like this is the line joining them, if the force, either attraction or repulsion, if the force acting along the line joining them, that force is called central force. Whether it is electrostatic or gravitational force, both are central forces. But these nuclear forces are not like that. So that is what they are telling, not central. So this is about nature of nuclear forces. So overall, mainly there are two types of forces exist between the nucleons. Mainly. Now, one last and final thing let us discuss today, that is stability of the nucleus. See, this is from the experimental data, laboratory data. Please try to remember it. If you are, because they have done some research and finally they come to a conclusion that whatever atoms you have considered, whom or in which Z is equal to A minus Z, Z is equal to A minus Z means number of protons equal to number of neutrons, then they found that nucleus is stable. So this condition, whichever nucleus satisfies, those appear to be more stable or stronger compared to other nucleus. And similarly, they also found that the nucleus with even number of protons or neutrons, those also found that they are more stable. So they can ask you for 1 mark or 2 mark, like which kind of nucleus or atoms are more stable, then you must answer it, right? So this is what the nuclear forces and the stability of the nucleus. And one more thing is here, actually the concept of radioactivity will be there in the nucleus chapter, which is actually main important for the entrance. But recently, because of the COVID, so the schedules have been postponed and still there is no like clear information like when everything will be settled. That's why they have given a list of few topics they removed from the few chapters, and radioactivity is one of the topic. That's why I am not discussing right now. So that thing, if it is there or if it is not there, still I will give you some idea in the actual classroom program, if it is whatever required things. Okay, so don't worry about it, because sometimes you may check the chapter and you will see radioactivity and you will ask me that, sir, you didn't taught me. So don't worry about it. So apart from this, there is one more thing, that is fission and fusion. But I thought to discuss that also, but that will not be finished in one class. So that also we will discuss later, and in the coming session also we will discuss numericals based on whatever we have discussed only, but some typical type of numericals I will discuss, right? So as I told you, we may not complete the full fission and fusion, but still I would like to give little basics, because the questions will be asked based on fission or fusion reactions related to binding energy. That's why the introduction I am giving. So rest of the things we will discuss later, as I told you. But at least definition and what is the reaction, at least we should understand. Same nuclear reaction type or chemical reaction type only, but we call it as nuclear reaction. First, the basic definition of fission and fusion. So what is the meaning of fission? See, the name itself is saying like fission, division. Fusion, fusing means what? Combining. Fusion, something is combining each other. So, two small nuclei, if they combine, then the resultant nuclei will be heavier, and such process is called fusion. Two small, lighter nuclei combined. How they are combining and conditions we'll study later, but just definition I am telling. Two lighter nuclei, if they combine and they form one big nuclei, then we call it as fusion. If one big nuclei divided into two small nuclei, then it is called fission. So one big divides means fission. Two small combines means fusion. So here fission, fusion. So let's take first fission reaction. Usually when we study binding energy, there only we study about radioactive elements, radioactivity, as I told you. But that is deleted from the syllabus. So let me just give you idea. See, the whole atoms when you consider, like periodic table when you consider, there are few atoms they have given in the below. So most unstable one, less binding energy. So those are called radioactive elements. So the mass number greater than 170, those are highly unstable, and those are all called unstable, like uranium, thorium, plutonium, so on. So those are called radioactive elements, and one such is uranium. And when that uranium undergoes fission, and for every fission reaction to take place, one fast moving neutron should hit with that radioactive element. So that's why here 92 uranium 235 plus 0 M1 means one neutron is hitting, fast moving neutron. Then it divides into two stable nuclides by releasing some amount of energy. Like one question we solved, 1H2 plus 1H2 equal to 2 helium-4. But there two nuclides combined. Like here again I have given same example. 1H2 plus 1H2 equal to 2 helium-4. So here what happened is lighter nuclei became heavier nuclei. Then binding energy increases, then energy releases. Here, so the lighter nuclei as well as heavier nuclei, both are unstable. So please try to understand. Less than 30 mass number, greater than 170, all are unstable. So the lighter nuclei combined means they become heavier. So the energy releases because binding energy increases. Similarly here also, one very heavier, most unstable radioactive element divides. So they become stable. So binding energy increases. So energy releases. So in both the process, what happens? There is some energy releases. And here this we call it as fission, and here this we call it as fusion. Fusion combining, fission division. So just understand the definition and remember these two chemical reactions, so that they can ask you few questions related to these two things based on energy, binding energy. That's why I am giving the idea. So what kind of question they will ask, that we will discuss in the coming session, definitely, right? So that you will understand better way. So what kind of, because they will mention in the question that in a fission reaction, fusion reaction, but they'll ask you about energy. But if I tell you directly, if I give you that question directly, then you will ask first what is fusion and fission. That's why I am giving the basic data. Fission and fusion. But fission means actually it is related to nuclear reactor, one of the device to produce or to convert nuclear energy into electrical energy. So that device, nuclear reactor, we will study in actual class. And the other one is fusion. Fusion, they explain to understand the continuous heat generation of sun. So those all things, atom bomb, hydrogen bomb, all those things will work based on this fission and fusion. So those things we'll study in our actual class. So please just remember these two reactions and understand the basic definition of fission and fusion, so that in the coming session we can solve questions based on this, right? So thank you so much.